Known as a Geo Archon with the best shield in the game, considered to be the most loved Geo character within the community, it's none other than our Geo daddy, I mean Zhongli. From the moment he was released to this point of the game, he is still known to be one of the best characters in the game. However, with all the situation that has been going around about MiHoYo is silently nerfing Zhongli, is he still going to be a worthwhile investment for your account, especially when so many good banners are coming along with Zhongli as well as right after him? In this video, I will be going through just that to help you make the best decision, and with that, let us jump into the video. As we've known, Zhongli is a character that focuses on providing shield to your team. He is the only 5-star character in the game at this point to provide shields apart from Thoma and Diona, who are other characters that reliably gives you a bit of shield. Now, if you don't know how good or what benefits shields actually give to your team, having a good shielder is an equivalent of not needing a healer in the team, provided that the shield is strong enough to withstand most of the attack without breaking before it resets. In which that's exactly what Zhongli is capable of. Unlike Diona and Thoma, Zhongli's shield can withstand a lot more strong incoming attacks while having longer duration and shorter cooldown time, mainly because it has the ability to absorb all elemental and physical damage on the same level of 150%, while also giving the ability to increase shield strength by 5% every time your character is hit from his passive talent too. So with all this, his shield will technically live until it is reset because it has a 20-second shield uptime with only a 12-second cooldown. Now, that's not the only thing that he provides to your team. While under the protection of his Jade shield, it will decrease the elemental and physical resistance of your enemies around you, which obviously help you deal more damage on all of your characters. His burst causes enemies to petrify, turning them into stones for as long as 4 seconds if you're on his max talent, which acts a bit like freeze, and since his burst only costs like 40 energy, this is very helpful, especially when you're going up against enemies that moves around a lot like wolves in the current abyss. That's not all. His most beneficial artifact sets is tenacity, which helps increase your team damage by 20% plus another 30% shield strength increase. So if you think that the only thing Zhongli provides is shield, then obviously that's not the case, as his kits provides you a ton of support. Not to mention, he does a ton of burst damage if you invest in him a little bit more. I won't go in depth into his build in this video as it is not the point of the video, but I will be making a separate video on Zhongli's full build. Now, even though we know that Zhongli is an amazing character, in the last 2 patches or so, there has been a certain decline in its usage, especially in the abyss, mainly because of the new enemies that ignore shields and continuously deal damage to you even if you are under a shield. This is very noticeable from the wolves in different domains and in the Abyss 2.3 or the new world boss of the Enkanomia region, as well as the Pyro Abyss Lector. They all have the certain ability that ignores shields. This begs a question within the community, saying that Zhongli is silently getting nerfed because it is not just from the last patch and this patch that we have monsters ignoring shield, but they have been saying that more enemies that ignore shields will show up in the future, and even if this is not yet official, I'm sure that there will be more enemies like this just by looking at the trend that it is going. However, here's going to be my personal take on the situation, is that if you look at the trend across most characters in Genshin Impact, MiHoYo will always find a way to balance out the game. It is something that I have to compliment MiHoYo on, how well they are balancing things out in Genshin Impact actually. Let's take Venti for example. How good do you think he is? Is he OP? I'd say he's very OP, but in what situation? If we were talking about back when patch 1.0 till like patch 1.5 for example, then Venti dominated most of the abyss. Why? Because his crowd control ability is just broken, and still until now his crowd control is still broken. However, there's not much usage of Venti now because in the current abyss floors you can't even crowd control most of the enemies, so using Venti like that would be wasting a slot on your team. Same goes for niche support character that MiHoYo is kind of releasing, like Goro and Shanha. They're really good niche support character, however they will only be good under certain conditions. So I'm sure you kind of got the point here, is that no matter matter how good of a character is, the game will always get to a certain point where things will be balanced out and you have to find a way to move the character uses around. Now for Zhongli, he is also in the same situation. Even when there are enemies that ignore shields in the abyss or domains, that doesn't mean that all enemies now ignore shields. It just means that you will have to find a way to use Zhongli while in certain situations, which now begs the question of, do you need him on your account or not? And here I will list out some of the reasons why you should or shouldn't pull for Zhongli on your account. First, you go for Zhongli if you love the character, of course, because if you love the character, then I definitely can't stop you from pulling for him. Next is that you're lacking a support character in the team at this point in time, and you want an easier time beating the game content, especially at lower adventure rank, because you don't have to worry about enemies ignoring your shield until the abyss, which is the end game content. Now you don't go for Zhongli if you are fine without a shield in your team, like if you're good with iframing or dodging and want a bit of a challenge, you can potentially skip out Zhongli for other characters that you're saving for. And next, you can consider skipping Zhongli if you're planning to go for Kazuha. Now I don't usually get kind of specific when making suggestions on this, but I just have to make notice about Kazuha because unlike Zhongli, who's getting a bit of a nerf, Kazuha is going to be very universal for a long time. I can't really see any ways of him getting nerfed because he is literally enhancing your team attack by a ton. So investing into Kazuha at this point in time will actually yield you more benefits, but that's not all, because the chance of Kazuha coming back is rather high as he hasn't been back for a long time, so who knows, he might be back in patch 2.5. Therefore, if you're planning to go for Zhongli or Kazuha and you're limited on your Primogems, I would recommend you to think about this and make a decision, while also wait until the end of Zhongli banners to see if Kazuha actually comes back. If not, then it's going to be an easier decision for you. And so the rise of enemies that ignore shields may be increasing, but that doesn't mean that you should be scared about Zhongli losing his place on the team, because his shield is still absolutely amazing while dealing with those kinds of enemies. The only thing you need to consider is that, do you really want him at this point in time when there are so many good banners that is coming right after him? And so if you're still wondering about that, then I have a video diving in depth into comparison between Zhongli and other upcoming characters to help you make the best decision. Now I hope that the video have been able to clear up some of the things about Zhongli in the current patch. If you found it helpful, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of my Supra Genshin Impact content on tips, tricks and builds. With that, I wish you a super day and I will catch you on the next video.